Okay, good morning, students. So once again, I welcome you all for this session. So after your the second internal assessment, now we're going to move on to the next design. So before internal assessment, we have completed design of singly reinforced beam. Okay, so let us consider the another element, that is doubly reinforced beam. So in the analysis, we have seen what is the difference between singly reinforced beam and doubly reinforced beam. Okay, so let us concentrate on doubly reinforced beam. How this doubly reinforced beam design will be done. So there is no much difference between design of singly reinforced and doubly reinforced. One major change you can observe here. First of all, you should know what you mean by doubly reinforced beam. Doubly reinforced beam is a beam in which the main reinforcement, that is tension reinforcement, will be provided at the bottom and also at the top. Okay, so on the both the sides of the beam, the reinforcement will be provided. Okay, so the bottom reinforcement is called as a tension reinforcement, and the top also it is a main reinforcement and it is called as a compression reinforcement. So in general, you can say that the reinforcement in which it is provided on both the sides of the beam, that is at tension side also and at the top compression side also, such a beam is known as a doubly reinforced beam. Okay, so how the design will going to change from singly reinforced beam, let us take one example. Okay, the problem we're going to take and we're going to design the beam. So the problem goes like this: or design a reinforced concrete beam of rectangular section using the following data. Okay, so effective span directly it is given 5 meter, width of beam is given 250 mm, overall depth is given 500 mm, then service load, that includes dead load as well as the live load, it is a 40 kilonewton per meter. Then effective cover to the reinforcement, it is given 50 mm. Then grade of concrete M20 and Fe415 HYSD bars will be used. Now let us observe here the given data. Directly the width is given and overall depth is also given. So you can calculate small d also from this. Okay, there is no problem here. So right, and one important thing you can read out this problem: design a reinforced concrete beam. So you cannot find here whether it is a singly reinforced beam or doubly reinforced beam. It is not mentioned. Okay, so you have to check whether this beam with this dimension, whether it is a singly reinforced beam or a doubly reinforced beam, we are going to check. So write down the given data, that is beam width of the beam, depth, overall depth of the beam is 500 mm, then effective depth, overall depth minus effective cover. So effective cover is given 50 mm both sides, at top also and at the bottom also it is 50 mm. So the effective depth small d is equal to 500 minus 50, that is 450 mm. D dash 50 mm, that is from top to the center of this compression reinforcement, that is also 50 mm. Effective span or length of the beam is 5 meter. Then total load W small w, it is in the form of UDL, that is 40 kilonewton per meter. Now see, just they have mentioned service load it is. Okay, service load is given, it is not a total load, working factored load is not given, and here it is mentioned dead load plus live load, it is including. Again, there is no necessity of calculating here. Okay, just they have mentioned dead load plus live load, it is overall it is 40 kilonewton per meter, but it is working load or service load. Multiply this with 1.5. Okay, we'll get WU. Okay, so the total factored load, now it is factored load, is equal to 60 kilonewton per meter. Now as I told, in this problem it is not mentioned whether it is a singly reinforced beam or a doubly reinforced beam. Suppose in the problem if they mention design a doubly reinforced beam, then there is no problem. But first here you have to check whether it is a singly reinforced beam or doubly reinforced beam. No doubt, we have written it is a doubly reinforced heading, but the problem is like this. Okay, in examination If you see problem like this, first you have to check whether it is a singly reinforced or doubly reinforced. If it is singly reinforced beam, so whatever the previous problems we have solved, refer that. Now for doubly reinforced beam, this will going to see. So in this problem, it is not mentioned whether it is a singly reinforced or doubly reinforced beam. Now we have to check. So how are we going to check now? First calculate the bending moment. Now directly you can calculate ultimate moment and ultimate shear force, that is Mu and Vu. Maximum bending moment Mu and maximum shear force Vu. Next, now again it is also not given in the problem. Just they have mentioned design a reinforced concrete beam. Okay, so they are not mentioned whether it is a simply supported beam or a cantilever beam. Okay, because the design of cantilever beam will be different. Here again, once again we will go into assuming simply supported beam. So the beam is simply supported with effective span 5 meter and a total load 60 kilonewton per meter. What you have? WU. So this is a UDL, okay, acting on the beam. Now as you know, for simply supported beam with UDL, what is the maximum bending moment at the center? This will going to bend like this. The maximum bending moment will be at the center. So Mu, maximum bending moment, is equal to WU L square by 8. Okay, WU is 60 into span, effective span, L square divided by 8. So therefore Mu is equal to 187.5 kilonewton meter. This is maximum bending moment for this load. Now similarly shear force, maximum shear force. So shear force will be maximum at what? Supports. So wherever the supports are there, shear force will be maximum. Bending moment will be maximum at the center. Shear force will be maximum at the two simple supports. Okay, what is shear force now? WL by 2. That is WU L by 2. So 60 into span 5 divided by 2, it is 150 kilonewton. It is force, shear force, 150 kilonewton, and this is maximum bending moment 187.5 kilonewton meter. Okay. So first we will go into calculate maximum bending moment and maximum shear force. So the next step is calculate Mu limit. Then how we are going to confirm whether it is a singly reinforced or doubly reinforced? Mu you have calculated. Now calculate Mu limit. Then compare Mu and Mu limit. Now for grade of steel is Fe415. So therefore Mu limit is equal to 0.138 FCK BD square. So 0.138 FCK is 20, B is 250, D effective depth 450 square. So this comes 140 into 10 raised to 6 Newton mm, or divided by 10 raised to 6 140 kilonewton meter. Okay, so Mu limit 140 kilonewton meter. Now compare this Mu, okay, this Mu with Mu limit. Now which is more? Mu is more than Mu limit. Okay, bending moment whatever you have calculated is more than the Mu limit. Okay, so automatically it indicates what? Since Mu is greater than Mu limit, okay, the beam is designed as doubly reinforced beam. Remember, this point is important now. In exam, don't directly design this as a singly reinforced beam. First calculate Mu, then Mu limit, compare Mu and Mu limit. If Mu is greater than Mu limit, design the beam as doubly reinforced beam. If Mu is less than Mu limit, design the beam as singly reinforced beam. But in this case, this Mu is greater than Mu limit. Now the beam will be designed as doubly reinforced beam. Now again, call back the sessions where we have analyzed the doubly reinforced beam. Now there will be three moments actually. Total moment is Mu, then Mu1. Mu1 will be what? It is the Mu limit. Mu1 is nothing but Mu limit. Then Mu2. Okay, Mu2 is the moment required for the steel beam. Okay, now what is Mu2 now? Mu2 is equal to total Mu. Okay, total Mu minus Mu limit means Mu minus Mu1. This Mu limit nothing but Mu1. So Mu minus Mu1. So 187.5. Okay, not this. This is Mu limit. So 187.5 is mu, this mu minus mu1 or mu limit. So mu2, or you can designate this as mu minus mu limit, that comes out 47.5 kilonewton meter. Okay. Now whatever the mu limit or mu1 is there, that will be maximum bending moment for singly reinforced beam. Then remaining moment will be taken care by this mu2. Okay. Now mu2 will be 47.5 kilonewton meter. Now let us calculate ASC. What is ASC now? There are at bottom also main steel will be there, at top also main steel will be there. So at the top it is compression steel ASC, and at the bottom it is tension steel, that is AST. First calculate what is the area of steel required for the top, that is compression steel ASC. But to calculate this ASC, first we have to calculate FSC. What is FSC? It is the stress, okay, stress at the level of compression steel. So top compression steel will be provided. At that level, what will be the stress? That is FSC. So to calculate FSC, we have to refer SP16. Hope you have already known this. So referring SP16, table F, okay, table number F. So there first you can calculate D dash by D ratio. Okay, D dash by D ratio. D dash is given 50 mm effective cover. D dash is 50 mm. D is effective depth, that is 450. So from this ratio, that is D dash by D ratio. Okay, once if you get D dash by D ratio, refer this SP16 table F. Go to table F. There you can find out this D dash by D ratio. For this D dash by D ratio, what will be the FSC? So FSC comes out 361 Newton per mm square. Okay, FSC will be, that is the stress at the level of compression steel, 361 Newton per mm square. So once if you get FSC, then calculate ASC, that is area of compression steel, which will be provided at the top. So we know that, okay, total mu minus mu limit means total mu minus mu1, or mu minus mu limit means what? mu2. It is mu2. This whole term is mu2. That is equal to, moment is equal to what? Okay, stress into, or force into perpendicular distance. Force mu2 is equal to what? Force into perpendicular distance. Force is what? Stress into area. Stress is FSC into ASC into perpendicular distance is D minus D dash. So this is force into perpendicular distance. So force is stress into area. So substitute all the values. So therefore what we want? We want ASC. So ASC is equal to mu minus mu limit divided by this FSC into D minus D dash. So mu minus mu limit, see here, we have calculated mu minus mu limit. See, mu minus mu limit, it is 47.5 kilonewton meter. So 47.5, it is kilonewton meter. Convert this into Newton mm. Multiply 10 to the power of 6 divided by 361 Newton per mm square into D, effective depth, minus effective cover. So area of compression steel is 329 mm square. So at the top, how much area is required? Steel 329 mm square area is required. But what we want? We want number of bars. How many bars we have to provide at the top? So for that, you have to assume the bar diameter. Normally 12 mm, 16 mm, 18 mm, 20 mm, 25 mm you can assume. But at the top, we assume the lesser diameter, that is assuming 16 mm diameter bars. Okay, let us assume 16 mm diameter bars. So number of bars, how will find number of bars? Total ASC divided by area of 1 bar. So total ASC is 329. This is area is required. This much area is required. 329 divided by area of 1 bar. Pi by 4 d square. What is the diameter we have assumed? 16. So 2 bars are required. So means at the top of the beam ASC, how many bars? 2 bars are required. So therefore you can say that provide 2 bars of 16 mm diameter as a compression steel at top of the beam. This is first design. ASC we have found out. 2 bars you have to provide at the top of 16 mm diameter as compression steel. Now actually how many you are providing? 2 bars. Now what is the area of steel providing? How much you are providing? Area of steel that is provided ASC is equal to 2 bars into pi by 4 16 square. So required is how much? Required is 329 and we are providing 2 bars of 16 mm means actually we are providing 402 mm square, that is 2 bars into pi by 4 16 square. So this much we are providing. Next, so it is ASC at the top. Now at the bottom main steel AST, area of tensile steel we have to calculate. But AST is what? Total AST is equal to AST1 plus AST2. AST1 is the steel required for the first beam up to maximum limit. To take MU limit, AST1 is required. To take MU2, this is it. To take MU1, AST1 required. To take MU2, AST2 is required. So total is AST. Now first we know that already. FSC into ASC, that is stress into area. Stress into area is what? Force. Stress into area is force is equal to stress into area of steel. So equate, that is the third figure. Hope you have remembered in the analysis third figure, that is steel beam. You have to consider steel beam here. When you are calculating AS2, you have to consider steel beam. So FSC into ASC, stress into area at the top is equal to 0.87 Fy AS T2. That is T2 at the bottom. 0.87 Fy AS T2. Stress is 0.87 Fy steel AS T2 is equal to force in the top concrete, FSC into ASC. So what do we want? AST2 we want. So AST2 is equal to FSC into ASC divided by 0.87 Fy. So substitute all the values, FSC, ASC divided by 0.87 Fy. So here actually you have to provide this. You have to take this. We are actually providing 329 is required, but how much you are providing? 402. Make correction. You can substitute this value 402 here, not this 329. So AST2 is 329 mm square. This will going to change now. AST2 required will be 329 mm square. Now this is AST2. Now we'll calculate AST1. So we also know that now the second sketch. We have to consider again force in the concrete is equal to force in the steel. Second sketch, 0.36 FCK is stress into area. Stress into area is this total force in the concrete. 0.36 FCK B into XU limit. Why you are taking XU limit? So it is XU limit. It is a doubly reinforced beam. So here the second sketch will maximum we are providing MU limit. So automatically XU will become XU limit. So 0.36 FCK B into XU limit, that is equal to again stress 0.87 Fy, then AST1. So force in the concrete is equal to force in the steel. So we want AST1. So AST1 is equal to 0.36 FCK B into XU limit divided by, or XU max, this is also XU max, 0.87 Fy. So first calculate XU max or XU limit. So we know that Fe415 grade steel, XU max divided by D is equal to 0.48. So therefore XU max is equal to D into 0.48. So this is the XU max value. So therefore AST1 is equal to 0.36, FCK is 20, B is 250, XU max is equal to 0.48 into 450 divided by 0.87 into 415. So AST1 is 1077 mm square. So total area of tension steel, total AST is equal to AST1 plus AST2. So when you add these two, AST1 and AST2, we'll get the total AST is 1406 mm square. Okay, so this is the total tensile steel at the bottom. Again, we require number. So now assuming higher, little higher than the top diameter bars. So we are assuming 25 mm diameter. See, it is left to you. You can assume 20 mm also. You can assume same 16 mm diameter also. Some of you may assume 18 mm diameter also. No problem. Okay. So assuming 25 mm diameter bars, number of bars is equal to total AST divided by area of one bar, that is pi by 4, 25 square. So three numbers are required, means 2.77 something is required. So we cannot provide decimal bars, rounded bars, three numbers. Okay, higher side, always you have to go to the higher side. So three numbers. If it is 2.77 means you should not provide two bars. No, higher side rounded off. So provide 3 bars of 25 mm diameter as tension steel at the bottom of the beam. Now see, at bottom 3 bars you have to provide 25 mm diameter, and at the top you have to provide 2 bars of 16 mm diameter. This is regarding reinforcement. Okay. Now actually how much you are providing AST now? AST is equal to 3 bars. We are providing 3 bars. 3 into pi by 4, 25 square. So 1473. So required is 1406. And actually how much you are providing? More than you have to provide this. 1473. Okay, mm square. Okay, so this is regarding reinforcement. The next important thing is, whenever you are designing beam, whether it is a singly reinforced beam, whether it is a doubly reinforced beam or a T-beam, okay, you have to check for shear reinforcement, okay, in the form of stirrups. So check for shear reinforcement. So as you already know the procedure, okay, first calculate nominal shear stress, okay, nominal shear stress, that is indicated as tau V. So tau V is equal to total shear force. Stress is equal to what? Force divided by area. Okay, stress is equal to force, that is shear force divided by area, B into D. VU divided by B into D. So VU already we have calculated, okay, in the previous case. Shear, this is VU, okay, shear force. Okay, it is 150 kilonewton it is. Okay, multiply 1000, it will become Newton. Okay, so 150 into 1000, it becomes Newton divided by B into D. 250 mm, 450 mm. So nominal shear stress tau V comes as 1.33 Newton per mm square. Okay, this is nominal shear stress. Now you have to calculate permissible shear stress. Okay, so before this you can calculate percentage of steel, because this is required, PT is required while calculating the tau C. So what is the percentage of tension steel provided? PT is equal to, percentage of steel is equal to AST upon BD. Remember this formula. Percentage is equal to AST upon BD into 100. Okay, so AST is 1473 here. This we are providing 3 bars now. 14. This is bottom bars we are talking about. Don't consider the top bars. So shear check will be checked for considering the tension steel, not top steel. Okay, so AST is 1473. 1473 divided by B into D into 100. So percentage, how much per in terms of percentage we are providing 1.3%. 1.3% of steel is provided at the bottom. Now referring table number 19. Okay, I hope still you remember. Refer table number 19, IS 456 2000 code book now. Okay, IS 456 2000 code book. Go to table number 19. For there you can check for this PT value. PT value is 1.3%. What will be the permissible shear stress? Okay, permissible shear stress. This is tau C now. Tau C is equal to, for this 1.3 percentage of PT, what will be tau C now? This is 0.68 Newton per mm square. Okay. So this is tau c. Now we have two values. Okay, one is nominal shear stress. So this will be coming. This much will be the shear stress. And what is the maximum allowed? Permissible means allowed. Allowed is 0.68, but coming is 1.33. So this is more now. Okay, more. So without with this steel at top and bottom steel at tension steel at the bottom will not going to sufficient. Okay, so now compare tau v and tau c. Now what you can say that tau v is greater than tau c. Always you have to compare tau v with tau c. Now if tau v is more than tau c, remember tau v, that is the nominal shear stress, is more than tau c, shear reinforcement is required. Okay, this is important. Okay, if tau v is greater than tau c, shear reinforcement is required. If tau v is less than tau c, nominal minimum shear reinforcement will be provided, but in any condition shear reinforcement has to be provided. But if tau v is greater than tau c, we have to design the shear reinforcement. Okay, so next step is design of shear reinforcement, that is in the form of stirrups. We are going to provide stirrups. They will going to act as a shear reinforcement. Now this step, remember already, what is the total shear force Vu? That is 150 into 1000 Newton shear force you have to consider. Now out of this total shear force, some amount of shear force will be taken by concrete also. So what is how much concrete will going to take? Shear taken by concrete. So it is tau c into BD. Tau c into BD. So this tau c, this value, not tau v, this tau c into BD. So 0.68 into 250 into 450. So out of this 150 into 10 raised to 3 Newton, how much concrete will going to take? 76,500 Newton. Okay, 76,500 Newton. This much of shear force will be taken by concrete. Now what is the remaining now? Total shear force minus shear force taken by concrete. Whatever the remaining shear force will be there, that has to be taken by stirrups. For that we will going to design the stirrups. So now what is the balance now? Total Vu, the balance here is taken by the stirrups is VUS. VU is shear force taken by the stirrups. S is stirrups. So shear force taken by the stirrups is equal to total VU, okay, minus shear force taken by the concrete. So 150 into 1000 Newton divided minus 76 into 10 raised to 3 Newton. So remaining is 73.5 into 10 raised to 3 Newton. So this is the shear force, see, or 73.5, okay, kilonewton, okay, divided by 1000, it becomes kilonewton. So 73.5 kilonewton. Who has to take this? This has to be taken by the shear reinforcement, that is stirrups. Okay. Now after calculating this, now directly you can assume the bar diameter. So always for stirrups you can assume 8 mm, 10 mm, at the max 12 mm. Okay, not more than that. Okay, now here in this case, let us assume 8 mm diameter, two-legged. Okay, I already told that what you mean by two-legged stirrups. Stirrups are always either single-legged, two-legged, four-legged, six-legged, eight-legged. But normally in the beam, it will be provided two-legged, four-legged or eight-legged. Okay, stirrups. Now let us assume 8 mm diameter bars, and these 8 mm diameter bars will be two-legged stirrups. Let us assume two-legged stirrups. Now directly you can find out the spacing of stirrups. At what spacing you will going to provide. So it is SP. SP means spacing is equal to, this formula is there in the code book also. 0.87 FY ASV, not it is AST. It is ASV into D divided by VUS, this VUS shear force. Okay. So that is equal to 0.87 FY. FY is 415. ASV, what is ASV? It is the area of stirrups. Okay, area of stirrups. It is two-legged, means you have to multiply 2. 2 into pi by 4 we are assuming 8 mm. So this 2 is because of 2-legged. So 2 into pi by 4, 8 square into D is 450 divided by VUS, this shear force, balance shear force. So the spacing comes out 221 mm. Okay. But you have to check, there are 3 spacings. You have to check 3 spacings. One is the spacing of stirrups should be least of the following. Least means lesser value. One is this SV is equal to, spacing is equal to 221 mm. From this equation we have got. Second is, at any condition, spacing is should not be more than 0.75 D. So 0.75 D is effective depth 450. That is 337.5. And then another is 300 mm. So out of these 3, which is least value, that will be the spacing. Okay. So spacing will be 221 is the least. Again, rounded off to this lower value. So therefore you can say that provide 8 mm diameter 2-legged stirrups. 8 mm diameter 2-legged stirrups at spacing of how much? 200 mm center to center. So always remember, spacing will be rounded to the lower value. Okay. So 200 mm center to center as shear reinforcement. Okay. Now the next step is, again important is, check for the deflection control. Check for the deflection control. Now for first L by D maximum you have to calculate. L by D maximum is equal to what? L by D basic into KT, KC into KF. Okay. L by D maximum is equal to L by D basic into KT into KC into KF. So KF is what? It is not a T-beam. So directly you can take KF is equal to 1. In the previous problem, in singly reinforced beam, we have taken this KC as also 1. But here it is not case. Here we have to calculate the KC. Why? The main steel is also provided at the top. So this KC is related to the main steel at the top. This KT is related to the main steel at the bottom. So for doubly reinforced beam, KT we have to calculate, KC you have to calculate, and this is 1 directly you can take. But in the previous singly reinforced beam, KT we have to calculate, these two we have taken as 1 because it was a singly reinforced beam. Now it is a doubly reinforced beam, means main steel is provided at top also, bottom also. So KC also you have to calculate, KT also you have to calculate. So if you want to calculate KT and KC, so first calculate for KT, what is the percentage? Already you have calculated 1.3. See here. For bottom steel, 1.3 percentage you have already calculated. And for top steel, see, for top steel, okay, if you want to calculate KC, PC is required. Percentage of compression steel. Just like PT, PC you have to calculate. So it is again same, ASC upon BD into 100. Okay, ASC upon BD into 100. So what is ASC we are providing? 402. See here. See. Provide 2 bars of 16 mm, means ASC we are providing 402. Provided it is. Okay. So ASC 402 divided by B into D into 100. So percentage of compression steel PC is equal to 0.35 and this PT is equal to 1.3. This is related to bottom steel. This is related to top steel. Okay. Now refer figure number 5.1, figure number 5.2, figure number 5.3. Figure number 5.1 is for KT. Figure number 5.2 is for KC. And figure number 5.3 is for KF. So anyhow this is 1. So referring this figure number 5.1, KT is equal to 0.93 and referring 5.2 figure, KC is equal to 1.10. So therefore substitute here, therefore L by D maximum is equal to L by D basic KT, KC, KF. So that is equal to L by D basic. What is the basic value? Now it is a simply supported beam. So if it is simply supported beam, basic L by D is 20 only. If it is cantilever, then it changes. Okay. Otherwise, if it is a singly reinforced beam or a doubly reinforced beam, If it is a simply supported beam, then it is 20 only. Okay, if supports are changing, okay, if it is a cantilever, then this 20 will not be taken, then 7 will be taken. For cantilever beam, this L by D is 7, but here it is simply supported, it is 20 into 0.93 into 1.10 into 1. So this L by D maximum is equal to, this comes out 20.46. Maximum is 20.46 allowed. But how much actually it is coming? L by D actually is, how much L we are providing? 5000 mm effective span divided by how much depth you are providing? 450. So this L by D actual, how much you are providing? 11.1. Remember, if this L by D actual, if this L by D actual is less than L by D maximum, if it is less than this L by D maximum, then deflection is within the control. Remember, deflection is within the control. Now see here, L by D actual is 11.1, but how much it is allowed? 20 up to 20.46. Anyhow, it is, this is less than L by D maximum. L by D actual is less than L by D maximum. Hence the deflection control is satisfied. There is no necessity of revising. Suppose in case here, if this L by D maximum, okay, is more than this, if this actually we are going to calculate, if it is more than this, then from first step you have to revise the whole design. Okay, remember. But anyhow, this will be acceptable. Okay, L by D actual is less than L by D maximum, so there will be no problem regarding deflection is controlled. Deflection is within the limit, controlled. Okay, this is deflection control check. Last, you have to show the reinforcement detail. What reinforcement you have provided? Now totally main steel is provided at the bottom, main steel is provided at the top, and stirrups are provided. Now see, this is a longitudinal section. Longitudinal section means lengthwise. Now these are the simply supported beam. So from center of this support, there is an effective span 5 meter. Okay. Now see, what is the bottom? Whatever you are seeing, this red bar. How many bars actually? But when you see, there are 3 bars. But when you see from the front, so 1 bar will be behind the other bars. So only the first bar you can see. But behind that, another 2 bars will be there. See here. So bottom 3 bars will be there. So this is 3 bars of 25 mm diameter as tension steel. Okay. And the top, see, this is top bar. Again, how many bars? 2 bars. Now see, these 2 bars. Okay. So top 2 bars of 16 mm diameter as a compression steel. And then all this will be together tied with the stirrups. Whatever you are seeing, this green color. Okay. This is stirrups. Okay. So these will be the stirrups. So add spacing. Spacing means distance between one stirrup to another. This distance, horizontal distance, is spacing. So written here 8 mm diameter, 2-legged it is. 2-legged stirrups at 200 mm center to center. Okay. So all these bars will be tied together with stirrups, and this hook will be provided. So this is cross section. Cross section means cut the beam vertically and see from the front. Longitudinal means lengthwise you have to see. Okay, so this is longitudinal section, this is cross section. So this is the total design of doubly reinforced beam. So minor changes will be there in the design of doubly reinforced beam compared to the singly reinforced beam. So additional steel will be provided at the top now, main steel. So that is ASC, bottom AST, then stirrups will be provided. So hope you understood this problem. If any doubts are there, so feel free to ask me. Okay, so in the next classes, we'll take up last design, that is design of T-beams. Okay, design of T-beam. So in the previous, before the internal IA, we have completed design of singly reinforced beam. Today this session is design of doubly reinforced beam. In the next class, we'll come up with the design of T-beams. So thank you very much for attending this session. Have a good day.